Hi, Coach. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. So I'm curious, last season before the season, we talked a little bit about pace and wanting to play with more pace, but then obviously Erica wasn't able to make it to the bubble and
Hmm.
other circumstances. But I was curious to hear you talking the other day again about wanting to play with maybe a faster pace. And I'm just curious what for you goes into like implementing that. How do you establish that early in the year?
Well, this season it's hard, as with last season, because of the pandemic. I mean, basically, and Bill Lambier mentioned this the other day. Every team is struggling right now with players who aren't really in the type of shape they typically would be in to start a training camp, and it's because they've not been able to do anything other than individual workouts. And you can do lifting and running and conditioning and all that all you want, but nothing replaces getting up and down the floor, playing 3-on-3 full court, for example, playing 4-on-4 and 5-on-5. Nothing replaces that. And that's what you do in a game. And so absent that, you got a lot of people who've just not come into camp, at their, peak readiness to go through practices doing team stuff. It's been a little bit slow going. So that said, you just work at it every day. I mean, that's never going to change. We want to get up and down the floor. And so you just build from day to day to day. And, we're better here on day 9 than we were on day 2. So that will be, it's kind of just a work in progress. And as part of our development as a team, our improvement and growth as a team, to see our ability to keep a quick pace where we're looking to attack early if we can, and then space the floor and play basketball, basically. But I like our group and I like the people that we have. It's just, they're going to need time, and patience in getting where we want to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Owen. Pat Boylan.
Hey, Coach, I think around last year, around this time, or what was the closest thing to this time last year, you made the comment that it needed to be Kelsey Mitchell's year, and it obviously was a big year for her. Is there anybody in that same light you're looking at this year that you kind of feel like this should be, or hopefully will be, a breakout season or a big step forward for them?
Well, there's several people that I really want to see, take the next big step. I think given the changes in our team, we've got some new players that are that have experience that are really going to help us. But I really like to see Victoria Vivian's, have a good season. I'd really like to see Tiffany Mitchell have a good season. I'd really like to see Tiara McCown keep developing into the post player we all know that she can be, and just take those steps, those growth steps that help her to add to her game and to deepen the quality and the depth of her skill level in all facets of the game. So, I don't know that there's any one person, but I think individually we have a chance to really improve. Okay. And then as a team, I think when that happens, then as a team, we will really improve.
This is hard to tell without getting to be around training camp, but it seems like Tiara is a lot more confident, a lot more maybe herself this year than previous years, and certainly dating back to her rookie year. Are you seeing that too? And might that manifest itself in a way that lends to a more productive season for her and a step forward?
Yes, absolutely. I think she took the off season seriously. She's worked really hard on developing her skills and just getting in the gym, all the time to work at her game and to refine her game. So I'm expecting, a lot of improvement, and I'm expecting her, she does seem more relaxed, more confident in what she's doing, and her focus has been good. So, we just keep trying to get her to understand, look, when you get to that place where we know you can be, you could be unstoppable. So your desire to get there, you competing with yourself to put in the work every day is really the challenge. And, she's doing a good job thus far. And there's a lot of growth there still to go. I mean, it's pretty exciting when you think about it, but she's doing a good job.
It seemed like she had begun the steps of maybe expanding her game a little bit in terms of shooting out to 16 feet or so. Is that something you want to see her continue to do? And what's the balance, knowing that she's such a dominant post player, but maybe can also improve those areas too?
Well, I think if you look around the league, all the fives, the good ones, the really good ones, have a face-up game that they can go to. They're not just back to the basket players. And she's no different. She comes in a little bit bigger frame, a little bit bigger body, but T has a good feel for things, and she's working at diversifying her game and not playing just with her back to the basket. So, kind of a work in progress. But, you saw last year in the bubble, there were, more than a few times where she had a face-up opportunity. People thought, stayed back, hung back, and thinking she wasn't going to shoot it. And it's something that she works on. And I thought she did well. So we're just trying to expand on that and help her to grow in all areas, that being one. Now, do I expect her to come down and start firing away every game? No. But she understands within our offense, the opportunities that are there. And, as she consistently demonstrates the ability to knock down face-up shots, we're going to keep giving her the green light. So
that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Tully, I saw you popped on there. Anything for Marianne?
Hey, Tully.
Hey, you doing, Marianne? Hey, I was talking to Sandy Brondello not long ago, and she kind of just made the comment that she feels like, a successful team is also going to come down to the healthiest team, referencing, where she ended up with only like 8-9 players, last season. Do you kind of feel that same way? It's like, it's all about keeping your players healthy as well on the court, just because of the transitions of the seasons and
absolutely
everything, lack of.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great point. It's a tough balance, because you're trying to get everybody, in game ready shape, and knowing that the starting point isn't what it should be and where it usually is. And so how to calibrate pushing them enough, but not pushing too hard. I just saw, for example, today, Willingham up in New York tore an Achilles. That, I hate to see anybody get hurt.
Oh, definitely.
It's a tough balance to push enough to keep improving and progressing and be ready to play 40 minutes. And at the same time, being shorthanded, when to put on the brakes and how to manage, so to speak, everything that has to be done. We've got a lot of players overseas that are still coming in, for example. And so teams are still taking shape. They're not fully formed right now. And yet, and still, we're like a week out from 10 days out from a game. So, and we're playing some preseason scrimmages or preseason exhibitions, either shorthanded or with people not 100%. That's tough. So yeah, it's a delicate balance. And, as coaches, we're always saying, okay, it could be last man standing. So you want to make sure that you're pushing, but you're not pushing too hard, too fast.
Yeah, it's all different from back in the day of 2 days, 4 weeks,
Yeah,
2
right.
days. It's totally different. Yeah. Defense is obviously, something really big that you've spoken about a lot. The individual players have. What area is like one of your main concerns coming from last season that you really are looking to make huge improvements on? Because obviously, like I said, you cut out a few points from the opposition, it's going to make a huge difference.
Right. I think overall our defense needs to improve, but like the number one thing is transition defense. Not getting caught where you're giving up a 5-on-4 advantage or a 4-on-3 advantage. And some of that is effort. Some of that is just understanding that, it is a team game. And I can't just be worried about my individual matchup. I've got to be invested in the team defense first. And that means that on the fly, you've got to be able to make adjustments, and the ball and the game move quickly. So I think just being able to apply common sense defensive tactics, on the fly, in the move, in motion, it's tough. Like the teams that are good in transition defense typically are good overall because they force you into a 5-on-5 situation. We want to be one of those teams that doesn't give up easy buckets in transition. That's number one. Number two, I think our pick and roll defense has to be solid, and our rotations and schemes have to be solid because we're not looking at a team full of all-stars here. We're looking at a team full of very good players who have to play as a unit to get the job done. And so there has to be great communication and effort and everybody on the same page in whatever we're doing defensively. That's where we give ourselves a chance. And that allows us the rebounding point. Finishing the defense with a rebound is going to be huge. Our rebounding has to improve. It's part of the defensive end of the floor. If we can do that, Now we give ourselves a chance to get out and run and play basketball the way we'd like to. So, for me, it's going to be a work in progress. We should be improving, each time we play. Today, we improved a lot on defense. We improved a lot. And so each day I'd like to be able to report back and say, hey, we got better today in this area. And so you just keep building on it.
Tiff, to note the obvious, you look in great shape. Is this the best shape that you feel like you've been in?
Yeah, I think the kind of one-up that I have, a lot of people kind of stayed home this past off season, and I was one of the few that went overseas and still played. So I'm coming fresh off of another season, so I'm being in game shape. So I'm game ready right now. I don't kind of have to work to get back in shape. So I'm just coming right back off into playing. It's a gift and a curse because I'm a little tired. But at the same time, I am ready to jump back into games.
Yeah, just talking to coach about, just managing all of that and how trainings have changed for players. So what area of your game are you hoping to make improvements in this season? Like, is there something you're like, okay, I got to get better here?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, just in my game, is just the overall consistency. I pride myself on just being able to play both sides of the ball and scoring at all three levels and making great reads, just doing what I need to do for this team to be successful. I think we underachieved for what the players that we had on this team. And I think this is the year that we can finally get over the hump, put things together and play that the way that we know we can play.
And you're one of the main vets now in the team.
It's crazy.
Come into camp and it's pretty much a whole new roster. How does that feel like, with so many faces that have changed?
Yeah, just leading by experience and talking to them. I know a couple of them have a lot of questions. Things are moving really fast. And of course, I've been in their position before where you don't want to ask questions because you don't want to slow things down as a rookie. So just kind of being patient with them, talking with them, because everything's new, coming from college and getting to this level. So just trying to talk to them, making sure, the spots that they need to be in. And if they have questions, want them to feel comfortable coming to us, talking to them as vets.
Awesome. Well, great to have you back, Tiff. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Tully.
Thanks, Tully. Owen Pence.
Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Hey, Owen.
So obviously yesterday, Dawn Staley's birthday, and I just love to hear from you what she's meant to you personally, but just how you view her overall impact on the game of women's basketball as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely one of those pioneers when you think about, the WNBA and women's basketball as a whole. She's directly affected my life and just, being a second mom to me when I was in college. And until this day, we still communicate. And I look to her as somebody that can help me through life. I think she was one of the first coaches that I had that looked at me more as a person and a player. So that's definitely something that it stuck with me. Just the loyalty and the relationship that I built with her. I'm never going to forget that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Pat, anything for Tiff?
Yeah, can you just catch us up on, you were overseas, right? How that season went for you?
So we ended up losing in the semis. The last game, we forced the game 3. So it was best out of 3, took them 3 games. We ended up losing by 1. It was tough, but we had to turn the page really quick and get back here. But for the most part, it was a successful season. Our team was in first place for majority of the season. So we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, of course, but live and learn. You got to take it and keep it moving.
How do you feel like that season prepares you for this one?
I think I've been in Israel the past 3 years. So that's one of the countries that I feel like I can go to kind of work on my own development and also, play competitive basketball with being a European lead as well. So I know I go there knowing that I want to work on certain things. So I try to, work on them while I'm out there. So when I get back here, it'll be easier for me to implement that in the game.
One thing you did probably the best job of your entire career line, and I know you're a slasher and an attacker, but do you feel like you took a step forward there last year? And is that something you're hoping to continue?
You kind of cut off.
Yeah, went in and out there a little bit.
Let me try again. One area that it looked like you improved upon a lot last year was getting to the line. I know you're an attacker and a slasher by nature anyway, but do you feel like you took a step forward there? And is that something you're looking to implement again this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just reads, putting my teammates, putting me in a position to attack, you know, having clear sides to get to the lane, you know, setting screens, good screens to be able to come off and get to the lane easy. A lot of times, if I can't beat my defender, I know most of the time either a help is going to come or I'm going to get fouled. So it's just kind of just being comfortable, getting to the basket and reading how people are playing me.